Hi, Miss Jameson. So I'm in my bed and I'm in my pajamas because it's late. But we're gonna do this anyway. So question number one was what challenged you about the book? And for me, it was really his whining and complaining that made it really difficult for me to get through. Just because it was 215 pages of a book that I wasn't really interested. And while the first 50 pages of his thoughts where I found were interesting because it really was the nonsense of a 16-year-old boy's brain. By the time that we had gotten to page 50, it had gotten old and kind of annoying. And just the over detailed parts too. Because it was really difficult to read 2 pages of straight details where nothing had really happened. And I just found it kind of bland at those points. And overall, it was just the slowness I found in the book. Because it was 200 pages, but it only took place over 5 days. So it was just kind of the slowness of the events that happened. And then question 2 would be respond personally to the book. So once again, I was not a fan of his complaining or his negativity. However, I did relate to his emotions of feeling lost and confused over the loss of a loved one. But I did really like his relationship with his little sister Phoebe, and that he used the metaphor of the carousel, and that Holden was the parent having to let her be free, because it was only really with Phoebe that we saw him be responsible, because when he was by himself, he was kind of suffering, and he was just not really himself. But when he was with Phoebe, he could really be himself, and he could really care about someone and not just be angry with the world. And then question 3 would be make 2 connections to the book. So my text to self-connection would be that, like Holden, I also lost a family member as a child, so I understood his attachment and his feelings of grief and how traumatized he is. Now, I didn't lose my brother, so it is a different situation, but he kind of took it out on the world. And I understand why he did that, because he was why is everyone okay with this? Why is everyone okay with my brother dying, even though he no one else really knew Allie? He was just angry at the world for how fast everyone seemed to move on from everything. And then my text to world connection would be that I don't think he realized that he was sick. Not that I think he was the type of person that would have gotten help if he knew he was sick, but in the 40s and 50s when the book was written and when it took place, there was a stigma around mental health. So I don't think that he knew he was sick. I don't think anyone could have pointed it out, other than the fact that the book referenced psychoanalysts a few times. I don't think anyone else was really interested in anyone's mental health. And I just think that it was really the time that the novel took place that really connected to Holden. And then the fourth question was evaluate the effectiveness of the ending. So I think the ending was very effective, and it really explained a lot of Holden's character and his irresponsibility and his rash decisions, but also why he focused on certain things like the phoniness of society and his own loneliness. So at the end, with him being sick and him being mentally ill, it was just the way that he perceived things. So it was him not dealing with the death of his brother, and just him thinking that it was again society's fault for moving on too quickly from everything, not just from death, but just the way that no one really cared about anything deeply enough anymore. And that was why he used the word phony, I feel in every situation. He thought everyone else was phony and fake just for not caring for other people, or for just being selfish. And his illness also explained why he felt so left out and different. And then that was the impulsiveness that he caused. When he bought the hat, he knew that it was different, and he knew that not everyone was going to like it, but he did it anyway. And that whenever he was wearing the hat was when he was truly himself. And that kind of looped back around to the ending when he stopped wearing it. Because at the beginning he was wearing it all the time, but near the end he was taking it off more because he didn't want people to see him. And that was when he started feeling more and more alienated from society, was because he wanted to fit in, he just didn't know how. And then the fifth question, the last question, is what makes this book worth reading? So it's no secret that I didn't really enjoy the book at all, but I do understand why it was branded a classic, because in the 40s and 50s when The Catcher in the Rye was written, no one talked about mental health. And I think it was kind of a risk that the author took, and clearly it paid off, because 70 years later, we're still talking about it. So I would recommend this book to people that are also interested in like the other classics, but also people that are interested in the development of like mental health and the stigma around it over the decades. So that wasn't really 10 minutes, it was only 5 minutes, but it's all I got. So yeah, thanks for listening.